Good morning, everybody. I'm sure you guys heard the news yesterday that Chester Bennington with Linkin Park died. And anybody that's been watching my channel, my universe, kind of knows music's a big thing to me. And I have done a lot of, so far, lip syncs. I did a little a cappella thing. So music's always been a very, very, very important part of my life. It, to me, is how we can express our soul, how we can emote emotion, and how we can just feel. I can think of probably a song daily for things that I feel, how I perceive, and things like that. So to hear that he passed and the circumstances that he passed with, it's a very, very tragic thing. And with something like this, suicide is a very important thing to be aware of. There's a lot of people that struggle with feelings, that struggle with things, and many times you don't understand why they feel the way they do about those things. But just because it's not an issue to you doesn't mean that it's not an issue to them. So it's something to take very important notice of and to extend a hand. We don't always have to understand what people are going through, but we should be supportive to them. That's very, very important because you don't know anybody's struggles. I was telling someone not too long ago that someone can appear like there's nothing going on the outside, but deep inside, they could be struggling with some demons. So you just never know. That smile, that hello that you give them could be something very, very important. So kind of what I ended up doing, just kind of a thing here. I had to, I jotted a few notes down about a couple of things in the different albums. But Linkin Park has always been very, very important to me. And especially once I got into college, as I was starting to grow, as I was starting to learn who I was, that music really, really spoke to me. Probably the first album that I really listened to, and this was my freshman year when I was in college, it was the Hybrid Theory album. And that album had a couple of songs that I really could relate with, that I really understood. There's In the End, and probably my all-time favorite off of that album is Crawling. I'm getting a little choked up just talking about it. I just discovering myself, being different, which at the time I was beginning to embrace, but having those songs really helped me get through a lot of that angst, I guess, if you will, and being able to express myself. There was some anger in there. There was some confusion. A lot of those tracks really spoke to that moment in my life. And then as some time passes, we go into the Mitoria album. And that was a really, really good album. Another one where the vocals of Chester really stood out, and you could hear him on a lot of the different songs. We've got probably my favorite one off of the album. We've got Faint, and we've got Somewhere I Belong, which is probably my second all-time favorite one, but probably my top one is going to be Numb. That song, just hearing how his vocals are laid on top of those tracks and the energy that he gives you. A lot of confusion and things that I felt was expressed in that song. A lot of the anger that I had, the way that I felt that I had to be something that I wasn't necessarily at all, and an image that I had to conform to. So, there's not really enough words to express that. Then kind of after that, you had the Minutes to Midnight album that kind of ended up dropping. And the only song from that, they kind of had a little bit of shift. I really, really enjoyed What I've Done. That song kind of speaks on a couple of different levels. Some people relate it to environmental things. To me, it's kind of the choices that I've made, the things that I've done, and how can I fix them, especially as far as a relationship goes. So that was another very important album to me. And then I remember Collision Course came out, the collab that they did with Jay-Z. That album, hands down, probably one of the all-time best albums. They meshed up a lot of their tracks with his, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, there are not enough words to express how smooth, how slick that went. I remember just sitting and watching a couple of things behind the scenes stuff with that, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, hands down. And more recently, he did the song with Kiara, Heavy, and that's on my playlist, and I constantly listen to that song because it speaks to paranoia, it speaks to a lot of different elements, and just kind of just feeling overwhelmed at times, and we all can feel that way. So kind of the bottom line of really why I'm even on here right now on my vlog talking about these things are the world has lost another great musical talent. And I don't know any of the demons that he was dealing with, but I know that we all deal with demons. I deal with demons. I have things that I deal with on a daily basis. It's all in how you perceive it. But one important thing to me is being as positive as I possibly can be. It's not saying that every day you're going to be happy, that you're going to be smiling, that nothing's going to matter. It's you never know what type of gesture or what kind words you can say to someone that could totally change their outlook on life. And as I said in the beginning of this video, we may not always understand what those people are going through. It may not make sense to us, but it's important to be aware that you just don't know what kind thing you can do or what kind thing you can say. And we have to guard our words very, very carefully. We shouldn't say things that cut so deeply sometimes. Really not to strangers especially, but especially to those that we love. Because you just never know. They could be here today and they could be gone tomorrow. And it's important to live each and every moment like it could very well be your last. And just go forward. You know, it's one of those things. We've all dealt with those really, really dark thoughts. The things that he possibly couldn't deal with. And it's really, really sad to see he's left behind 6 kids. He's left behind 2 wives. And that's really, really something that's going to be hard for them to deal with and to move forward, I'm quite sure. And, you know, I guess I'm thankful for the way my upbringing, even though I've had some rough patches in my life, I'm thankful that when things get that dark, I can never proceed because I realize that would be a very, very selfish choice on my part. I have a 5-month-old niece that I love with all my heart. And that's just something that I could never see myself doing, no matter how deep down you. And so when you're in those places, a lot of times, just me speaking from experience, you have to find something to lift you out of that. You have to find something or someone to get you out of that. But I thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back to more of my universe. Take care.